Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother in Al-Islam and your brother in humanity, Brother Charles Shabazz of Shabazz Islamic Ministries. This is just a short video here. What I'm going to talk about is that some of my fellow African-American brothers and sisters, Muslim and non-Muslim, I'm getting what you call constructive criticism because I'm discussing the plight of the Palestinian people on my videos, right? And from their point of view, while what's happened to they do understand and know that what's happened to our Palestinian brothers and sisters is horrible, needs to be rectified, and all that. But still, we as African Americans have more issues that we need to address, and and not as much for the Palestinian community. And also, their argument is that other groups like the Palestinians and the Pakistanis and the Arabs, they don't show those same concerns for our community, right? I do not disagree with them, right? Because they are correct. And because number one, we do have significant issues going on in the African-American community that still needs to be rectified. We still not only facing discrimination, not only do we still have to climb a higher mountain than our European-American and our Asian-American counterparts, right? But we still see several cases of murder, police brutality, and all those things. That's still going on, right? And those are things that the Muslim community should be addressing. That and you hear, when you listen to the khutbahs from many of the scholars and imams and other masjids, they'll talk about not only just the Philistine people, they'll talk about what's going on against Muslims in Burma or Myanmar. They'll talk about what's happening to the Uyghurs, right? They'll talk about them. Yes, we should be concerned about our Muslim brothers and sisters all over the world. But Islam teaches us to be concerned for all oppressed groups all over the planet. It's not just restricted to Muslims. It's non-Muslims too that we should have a concern about. And certainly we have oppressed groups even here in America. And we have African Americans, we got Latinos, we have the Native Indigenous people, and Asian Americans as well, right? They're all facing that, we live in a country, unfortunately, where even though we may, as a U.S. citizens, may be entitled to the majority of our constitutional rights, right? And we're entitled to those things, and we are, for the most part, enjoying those rights. The right to vote, the right to live where we want to live, the right to eat where we want to eat. I mean, no question, it's a lot better than when my parents were growing up, right? Because my mother, for instance, is originally from Norfolk, Virginia. And during her time when she was coming up, segregation was the order of the day. You couldn't stay at certain hotels. You couldn't eat at certain restaurants. Were not allowed to attend the same institutions of learning with European Americans, right? Etc. Even though Norfolk at the time, for a segregated city, was relatively progressive. I'll give you an example. Like, the majority of the southern cities at that time, you had to sit in the back of the bus, right? Or if you were walking on a sidewalk, even if you had your best dress or your best suit on, if a European American person came, you had to step off the sidewalk and let them walk. Or if you go to department stores, you were not allowed to go to fitting rooms and try things on before you buy them. The majority of those southern cities implemented that. Now, Norfolk was a different story. Yes, you could not drink the same water fountains like everywhere else. You could not go to the same schools. You could not eat at the same restaurants. In fact, my grandmother, God bless her, she lived till she was 96 years old. During the Great Depression, she was working as a waitress in a so-called whites-only restaurant, right? She served people, but even if it was her parents or her siblings, if they want to come in and eat, she had to turn them away, right? But weirdly, Mom shared with me that when she was coming up, she didn't have to sit in the back of the bus. Pretty much, you could sit anywhere you want to in Norfolk. You can try things on. You can go to a fitting room. And even at that time, you don't have to step off the sidewalk, right? Unlike Birmingham and Montgomery. So Norfolk was a relatively progressive city, right? And that was because the area was heavily influenced by the United States government, particularly the United States Naval Base, because Norfolk is home to the largest naval base in the world, or the largest military base in the world. So that influence from the government had a lot to do as to why Norfolk was not as strict in their segregation as many of the cities at the time. But still, and also my mom, even before they passed the Voting Rights Act in 1965, my mom turned 21 in November of 1963, 2 years before they passed it. She was still able to register to vote. So, but still, alhamdulillah, I bless and I'm thankful to Allah that I did not have to go through those things. So we came a long way. We enjoying those rights. But again, like I said, we still have a long ways to go. So, as long as you have the majority of people in Congress that's white supremacist minded, that's Zionist minded, still, we're gonna have to deal with, these so-called racist circumstances. And we still, and anytime when you have like these incidents of being murdered by the police, right? And you so happen to take the police to court, and the jury happens to be all European American, more likely all the European Americans are going to let them go, right? A la Trayvon Martin, or or the guy that got murdered in Ferguson, right? We're still dealing with that in 2023, but definitely Muslims all over the world should be taking a look at these things, right? So I don't disagree with the other brothers who are criticizing me on this. But what I am saying is this: as Muslims, we should be setting a better example. What would Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have done? What would he do? Right? First of all, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he wasn't just concerned with the Quraysh. He wasn't just concerned with the Arabs. He was concerned with everybody. He was concerned to humanity, because that's who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him to mankind. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to mankind, then we are the service to mankind. And as far as being concerned for our Palestinian brothers and sisters, we're on point in our Islam. Now, those other brothers and sisters who want you to be concerned about them, but wouldn't be concerned about you, obviously they're not on point in their Islam, because they're very nationalistic, and there's no room for nationalism in Islam. So we shouldn't be concerned about their double standards. Ignore their ignorance, ignore their double standards, because they're just ignorant in their Islam. They are not practicing what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has practiced. Obviously, we're doing a far better job than they are. And certainly we're calling on them to show more concern for humanity, to show more concern for mankind. And those of you who say that we as African Americans or so-called black people should not have any concern about what goes on over there, shame on you too, because you're part of the human race. You're part of the human family. You shouldn't just be concerned and so, closed-minded with just dealing with the issues in the black community. Absolutely, we should be dealing with issues in the black community and all that. But we should be concerned for all humanity. Get out of that nationalism, right? Because nationalism is not going to take you anywhere. There's a Jannah, there's a Jahannam. And both places are going to be filled with everybody. So it's not just going to be regulated to one nationality, one ethnicity, or one language. Everybody's going to be filled in either one of those two. And inshallah, we should strive to want to go to Jannah or to paradise, as opposed to Jahannam or the hellfire. So again, let's be better examples of what we as Muslims are about. Yes, we should be concerned about our community. Yeah, but we should be concerned about others. And I'm going to continue to address the plight of the Palestinian people. Inshallah, I will present more videos on the plight of our people, which is in the plan anyway, right? And like I said, mind you, I just started this video, started my channel promoting videos a few months ago, so it's still in its infancy. But we're growing and growing, inshallah. So have sabr about what I'm going to promote. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to everyone else.